And with that, we say welcome into the hottest sports podcast in the South, the best damn sports podcast, period. This is Sentell. We're live on Facebook. I am your host, the sensational Sentell Wideman, and man, we have a huge show tonight. A big show. It's so big, it's so ginormous that I needed not one, not two, but three guests to help me break it all down, and they'll be on later. We're going to do a full division by division NFL breakdown, conference champion, Super Bowl picks abound. But before that, we must go back, and I'm going to recap the weekend in college football, specifically the top 10 in college football. Let me get right to that. The number one team in the country, Alabama Crimson Tide, they look the part. I'm not gonna overreact. I'm not gonna overreact to what I saw. They played Miami, but I will say they looked very well. Bryce Young looked good. Defense was flying around, but again, it was Miami, so I'm not gonna get carried away because it was Miami. So I'm not gonna get carried away. But they looked the part. No doubt about it. Alabama looked good. They rolled Miami 44-13 in a rout. Oklahoma struggled against Tulane. They was tied early. Oklahoma on a little run, got up big. I think they took their foot off the gas, but give Tulane credit. They fought back, got the game within 5 points, and only lost by single digits. Shout out to Luke Tulane. They went through a whole lot this past week with Hurricane Ida, misplaced, practicing at Alabama, and then having to play a game out at Oklahoma. So big up to them for only losing by 5. Ohio State played on Thursday night against Minnesota. CJ Stroud had a mixed bag. He didn't look too good in the first half. Played better the second half. I thought Ohio State defense was not good, which I told you guys on the preview show. Their defense has not been good the last couple of years. I don't think they have a championship caliber defense. Offense is sensational. They got some running. They got a great running game with this new freshman Henderson. The two receivers are just outstanding, and Olave and Garrett Wilson, two NFL guys. Just like I said, CJ Stroud, a mixed bag. He did some good things, did some not so good things, but they had 4 TD passes ultimately. Texas A&M beat some scrubs, 41-10. Iowa State, number 17, they struggled with Northern Illinois. It was a 16-10 ball game. They struggled mightily, and they play Iowa this weekend, a huge game for bragging rights in that state. Cincinnati rolled over Miami, Ohio, 49-10 in a thriller. Notre Dame hangs on to beat Florida State 41-38 in overtime. Obviously, the big story of that game, Mackenzie Milton, who had this horrible knee incident a couple of seasons ago, back in 2018, if I'm mistaken. He come in, he leads a touchdown drive, also leads to a field goal drive that sends the game to overtime, but they ultimately lose Notre Dame. We talked about Notre Dame a little bit last week. Again, I think they win 9-10 games. They're a solid football team, not a championship type contender. But, shout out to Florida State for playing hard. And then the big one, obviously, was Clemson, number 3 Clemson, at number 5 Georgia up in Charlotte. Turned into a defensive slugfest, which I was really surprised about. I'm not surprised that Georgia struggled offensively against Clemson, given that George Pickens was out, Darnell Washington went out, and we've seen Georgia have struggles offensively. So I wasn't surprised, but I was shocked that Clemson was just looked so anemic offensively. And I told you guys on Thursday that they needed to be balanced. You don't have to rush for 200 yards, but you needed to have some balance. So check this out. Clemson rushed the ball 23 times. 23 times for 2 yards. That would not get it done. 5 of 16 on third downs. DJ was sacked multiple times. Again, combination for me. Offensive coordinator, quarterback, offensive line. Those are the 3 main culprits. I look at that because you at some point have to make a decision, make some adjustments at halftime to put your team in the best situation to win. Clearly, what you had going in was not working, and you never seem to make any kind of adjustments. And this is like the third time in a row we've seen Clemson offensive line get manhandled. I mentioned that Thursday. Clemson offensive line has not been good in a few years, and when they play teams with likability, I'm telling you, they're gonna run through the ACC again. But I judge you when you play teams of likability, and when they play teams of likability here lately, they're not matching up, and it starts in the trenches. So Georgia wins. I'm not impressed with Georgia. Don't give me all this Georgia hoopla. I enjoy the defense, but we've seen Georgia defense be great the last couple of years. And when you start running up on elite offenses, that stuff does not work. Your team needs to be able to score. But what we did see this week in the opening weekend, unlike last year, defenses traditionally are ahead of offenses. But not last year because it had COVID. So you couldn't tackle. So you didn't meet as much as the defensive staff. But you saw that this weekend. Defenses played much better this weekend because traditionally defenses are way ahead of offense because, that's just how it usually works. So that was weekend in college football. But it's time to transition. Because I got one, not two, but three guests. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're about to go NFL heavy on this show. Man, this is big. You about to see this. This is big. This is ginormous. This is ginormous stuff. This is historical stuff right here. I got a quiet box going on right here. I got a freaking quiet box right now. To my top left-hand corner, he's been here several times. Need no introduction. The original KD, Kiwi Dennis, is in the building. To your bottom left, the one and only Buck, Tony the Tiger Thomas, is in the building.
Oh.
And to your bottom right, noted Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Clemson Tiger fan, and Boston Red Sox fan, David Bryant is in the building. Gentlemen. Oh, my goodness.
Yo.
What's going on?
What's up, man?
It's just the same old thing, baby.
Appreciate you having us on.
All right, I got to keep some kind of order in this piece. So what I'll do is so every time we do something, I'm going to go to my left. So Kiwi be first, and then we'll go to Buck. And then David would always have the last word, but we'll go in that order. So it always Kiwi, Buck, David, all right? So we're going to keep some kind of some sanity around this place. NFL season. Let me hold up. I got to change some stuff because I don't like what I'm looking at. Let me change this. Let me get a little I need an NFL feel behind me. I need an NFL. Okay, let me get this changed. Change that. All right. There we go. We need an NFL feel behind me. Okay. Well, let's get into it. All right, man. Let's start in the NFC South with a reigning, defending, undisputed champion start. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went 11-5 last year. Won the road, won a 3 playoff game. Was the first team in NFL history to host a Super Bowl on their field. They did that. They looked very impressive in the Green Bay game. Not the Green Bay game. The Super Bowl looked really impressive. The other 2 games, I'm not impressed by the first 2 games they played. Washington had Tyler Heineke playing. The Saints, Drew Brees on his last leg. He really didn't have nothing left in the tank. But they got it done. The Saints went 12-4 in the division, but hey, they lose a great all-time legend in Drew Brees and steps Jameis Winston. Carolina went 5-11. They go out, they draft J.C. Horn in the first round. Christian McCaffrey will be back this year. Second year with Matt Rule. And then the Falcons went 4-12. They lose Julio Jones. They add Kyle Pitts during the draft. And they went 4-12, as I mentioned earlier. So I'll start with you, Kiwi Dennis. Handicap the NFC South for me. How do you see it going?
This is probably the easiest division in football to pick a winner for. So, of course, you got to go with the reigning defending champs. Definitely, Bucks probably end up winning the division, but look for the Saints to make a playoff push. I like what I saw to Jameis. I haven't been the biggest Jameis fan since he's been in the NFL, but I like what I saw to Jameis in the preseason. He looks a lot better. He can clearly see the field better now that he got LASIK surgery. So we look for probably the Saints to be a wild card team, but definitely the Bucks win the division.
Tony, Buck.
Yeah, I'm looking at the the Bucks, and I keep telling everybody the Bucks finished second in the NFC South last year. Defense didn't come on until the end of the year into the playoffs. So I still have to look and say, okay, let's look at the defense with the Bucks. They are returning all players. The biggest key is New Orleans. New Orleans did lose key players on defense, and that's going to be the key. Can New Orleans come back and play offense? But I think Mike Thomas is going to be out for a while. So I'm looking at the Bucks again winning that division. But don't be surprised what the Atlanta Falcons do. They still got Matt Ryan. A lot of people don't like Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan put up numbers. And I'm going to show, I'm going to tell people, Calvin Ridley was the best receiver there in Atlanta last year, and you're going to show this year when he's had the starting and a key role.
Dave?
But, of course, the Buccaneers.
Dave, how you see it
Yeah,
going?
you got to go with the Bucks. You got to go with the Bucks. Some teams you have to worry about that Super Bowl hangover, but you got a veteran like Brady, so he's gonna have them ready to play come week 1 against the Cowboys that they're gonna beat. But like you say, Saints, they lose Thomas and Breeze. They'll push for the second spot, but you got to go with the Bucks.
He said the Saints with Saints James Winston. I don't know, with Saints. James, I think James is gonna have a really good season, but Michael Thomas being out, so I'm not sure where he kind of at right now with that. Defense should be still legit. I mean, the Saints, like I say, the Saints have been really good the last couple of years, especially defensively, and they've been snake bending in the playoffs. Because if you look at last year, they won the division, so you're thinking, hey, they got Brady's number, they beat him twice, they beat him handily twice in the regular season, and then in the playoff count, I thought Drew Brees was a hindrance last year in that playoff game. I thought he was the biggest reason they lost in that playoff game because he wasn't himself. He really hurt them by playing in that football game. I look at Carolina. I'm gonna talk about Carolina a little bit more later, man. I like what they've done. I like Sam Darnold pickup. I know people don't like Sam Darnold, but you just have to just throw everything that happened in New York away because we all know that's a damn cesspool in New York. We all
Adam
know
Gates.
that it's just a shit show in
Yeah.
New York, and you just you cannot make an evaluation of somebody who plays for New York Jets. You can't do it fairly because you know it's a shit show. But I like what Matt Rule is doing. Love J.C. Horn pick. Love Christian McCaffrey back. I like what they're doing in Carolina. I don't too much care for the Falcons. I don't think they can stop anybody at all. I do. Matt Ryan put up numbers, but they empty calories. They always behind by 30. So yes, he puts up
They
numbers.
have
Go ahead, boy.
they
Go
pick
ahead.
up Mike Davis at running back. They picked up Mike Davis at running back, and everybody gets set back and think that watch Mike Davis. Mike Davis, everywhere he went, he got the football. He put up, and he runs the ball good. And Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley gonna put up numbers. Watch what I tell you. They're gonna put up numbers. They're gonna be unstoppable from a standpoint of running. You're right. They're not gonna be able to stop anybody. New coach, new culture, and I guarantee you we're gonna see a difference in Atlanta.
Yeah, Arthur Smith. Comes over from. Yeah, Arthur Smith comes over from Tennessee. So
Yeah,
we should see how that go. See how that is. Dave still on? Dave, we losing Dave.
Mike Davis, he's there. Mike Davis is starting running back, baby.
Yeah, I know. I thought
Came
we
from
lost.
Carolina, went right
Okay,
there.
we got Dave back. Lost him for just a second. But everybody's
Yeah.
picking the Bucks, correct?
Yeah, everybody got the Bucks, but
Everybody's
like
picking
I
the Bucks.
say,
Okay.
don't be
So yeah.
surprised at Atlanta.
So yeah,
Don't be
all on
surprised
the
with
Bucks.
Atlanta just
Okay.
because the Bucks won the Super Bowl last year.
Okay, let's move on to the AFC South. The Titans actually won the division last year. They went 11-5. They add Bud Dupree from the Steelers come off ACL. They obviously made the huge trade for Julio Jones, but they do lose Jonnu Smith. Corey Davis is no longer there. A top 5 pick. Adoree Jackson, who's a former first round pick, is no longer there. The Colts finished second in the division. They had Phillip Rivers last year. In comes Carson Wentz, who's already been hurt, which is no surprise to anybody. And the Texans went 4-12. They finished third. And then, of course, Keevis Jacksonville Jaguars finished fourth in the division, went 1-15, but they drafted Trevor Lawrence. So that's where we'll start. We'll go to Keevis Dennis first. How do you see this your division? How do you see your AFC South playing out?
Um, it's actually a tough division. I mean, we get a bad rap, but we got probably one of the more competitive divisions that's in the NFL. I mean the Titans probably on paper probably had the best team, so I would say that the Titans will win the division. I don't know if I can trust Wentz. I don't trust him to be on the field. I don't trust him to even though he's reunited with Frank Reich, I just don't trust Wentz. I can't trust him until I actually see him. And I haven't been able to see him throughout the preseason, so I haven't been able to see him. But I got the Texans winning the division, but don't be surprised if the Jags sneak up and win this thing. Like, not
Okay,
really hearing me
but
out. I
okay,
really
all
think
right,
we got a good
okay.
chance.
But
We got a good chance.
get in
Look,
here.
I
Get in
look, I
here.
picked the Titans. I picked the Titans. I picked the Titans. You hear me out, but don't. I'm
All right.
saying you hearing it here first. Don't be
But but
surprised.
but get in here.
Don't be surprised.
Get in
Worst
here,
to
but
first. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Do I really have to? Man,
yeah.
take those Jaguar
Handicap the division.
glasses
Handicap the
off.
division.
So yeah, man, the Titans. One thing about the Titans and every running back, and people want to say this now, they've been running Derrick Henry. They that ran the threads, I think, close to running the threads off that tire. So, but I digress a little bit because he's unhuman. So, but they've been running him a lot, and so about the third year you running the back like that to take hits like that, even though he dish out a lot, you put some wear and tear on him. Now, adding Julio Jones was a major add to that wide receiver room with AJ Brown. So the key is now.
Yeah.
Last year, Tannehill proved that he wasn't a one-hit wonder, but everybody gonna go check and say, okay, let's see, can we stop Henry? And like I say, I'd have had Julio Jones 2 years in a row in fantasy, and everybody looking at him and think he's great. From my fantasy standpoint, he's garbage because he's
not
always
about your
hurt.
fantasy league.
So, but I'm talking about fantasy, but fantasy actually, when you look at fantasy, it comes to reality because he's garbage in fantasy because he do not put up numbers because he's always hurt. Also, the Titans, they are 24. They was 24 last year on defense, and I didn't see any moves that they approved for defense, but the pre coming off a year that hurt and with the Steelers. So that's my key. They drafted Caleb Farley, and I looked at the doggone depth chart. Caleb Farley in the first round, and he's third on the depth chart. So that's one thing. But I do I do see Tennessee still the elite of this division. Carson Wentz, that's going to be key. If he's healthy, all of a sudden, they keep trying to revolving door to see who's going to take over for Andrew Luck. But one thing I love about the Indianapolis Colts is their defense and their running back room. If you can look at Jonathan Taylor, and if my man from South Florida, let me give him a shout out, comes back. If he comes back, Marlon Mack, he's come back healthy. He comes back healthy. And then with Hines as a great third down back coming in and can spread out into the slot. If Wentz behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and people can sit back and think it's not. It's one of the best offensive line in the NFL. And then they have a guy that I think is going to become a superstar pretty soon. I really do think he's going to become a superstar pretty soon. And Michael Pittman, you know what I'm saying? Michael Pittman had a great year up and down last year. Had a great year. Now, and I'm going to talk about the Jags and keep on messing with you about the Jags. But Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, they got experience now coming into the NFL. I'm going to make it short, man. I know a little bit long, you know how I do. But coming into the NFL, and I don't like head coaches first experience in the NFL with quarterbacks first experience in the NFL. So it's going to be a challenge for them, especially Urban Meyer, because either Urban Meyer going to jump off ship early because it's a total difference than being at Florida and Ohio State. Now, one thing about I love about the Jaguars is their wide receiver, Sharp. And then they signed Marvin. They got Marvin Jones, a free agent from Detroit, which I love him. Marvin Jones, and then you got Chenault. And you think about it, type of receivers that Lawrence have had when he was at Clemson. two tall guys, with Shark and Marvin Jones, and then you got a slot guy in Chenault that's basically like a running back when you get the ball. So that's what I see for them. I don't see them being too far off, but they're going to be the black horse in the division. And all I can say about Houston, Texas is that Houston, we have a major problem. That's a train wreck. That's a train wreck there. So everybody should beat them.
Dave, what you got in the AFC South?
I finally agree with Buck for once in life. Like he actually said some real stuff. Now, like you say, the Titans, everybody gonna pick the Titans, with the addition of Julio, and you can't go wrong with the running back, with Henry. But like you say, they've been running for a while now, so he's soon to break down. And like I say, they didn't add anything on defense, and they was pretty terrible last year on defense. But then with the Colts, that's who I'm going to pick. And, the Colts, they do have a great offensive line. Wentz do have a new start. They got talent as a running backs and young receivers. And Wentz is going to have time to throw the ball. So, it comes down to that. Like I say, the defense is great. They're going to hold up. It all revolves around Wentz. But, with them, I haven't looked at their schedule in Tennessee schedule. I'm really going to pick the Colts this year, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that's not a bad pick.
I think we all agree that if Carson, if they told you right now,
Right.
Carson Wentz would play all 16 games, everybody would probably pick the Colts.
Right.
Because
probably pick the Colts.
They have a better all around team. But we all know the most important position on the field is the quarterback, and your best ability is availability. And if I cannot trust Carson Wentz because he's already been hurt, and he's already been hurt. He's already been hurt.
And he's in COVID protocol right now.
Now he's in COVID. He just got a COVID protocol, so I just can't trust that.
Yeah, just coming out of COVID. Yeah,
I can't trust that. I mean, I don't want to pick the Titans like that because the defense is so bad. But I do trust that Ryan Tannehill will be there. We know they're gonna run the football, and it will open things up for Julio and my main man AJ Brown, who I told you guys in that draft class would be the best receiver out that draft class. Hey, but that's neither here nor there. I got the Titans. Keith, who you got?
I got the Titans. I can't trust Wentz, so
Buck?
Got to go to Titans.
I got the Titans too, man, in that division because it's just default. Go with the Titans, but because I like you said, I don't trust Wentz, and but if he played like that year he was on the road for MVP with the Eagles, it's a different story.
Dave, I know you said the Colts, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Colts this year.
All right, everything. See, I like about the video because this here come back like we all these picks are documented. So let's move on. The AFC East, a team that I really, really love. The Buffalo Bills went 13-3 last year. Josh Allen, senior, arrived with the emergence of Stephon Diggs, a true number one receiver. They looked the part last year. 13-3. They did win a playoff game, but they ultimately lost out to the defending Super Bowl champion at the time, Kansas City Chiefs. Dolphins went 10-6, but kind of came apart late. I'm not a Tua fan, but he looked better in the preseason. They went out and got two receivers, Will Fuller, who always hurt. You talking about people who hurt? Will Fuller continues to stay hurt. They did draft Jalen Waddle, the fine receiver out of Alabama.
He hurt now, right?
The Patriots went 7-9. They drafted Matt Jones. We know what has gone on with them. They added Hunter Henry, who's been banged up. Jonnu Smith. They added Nelson Aguilar from the Raiders. They added Kendrick Bourne from the 49ers. So they've added some weapons. They went and got Trent Brown back at offensive tackle, so that solidified the offensive line. And then the Jets went 2-14. New coaching staff. I told you, the damn Jets. They got a new coaching staff. They drafted Zach Wilson from BYU. And so that's the AFC East. I'll start with you, Keith. How you feel about the AFC East?
I actually like the AFC East. This is probably one of the most fun divisions to watch. It will be this year anyway because of the influx of new talent. So not just the free agent pickups of the Patriots. You got pretty much the New York Jets starting over. Pretty much like that, brand new franchise with all the new pickups from the draft with them. So I really like this division. As far as like picking a winner, I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut. The Bills are the best team in the division. The Dolphins do have a chance, but it depends on Tua's progression. Like I didn't see much out of him last year to show that he can be, you know, NFL quarterback that can actually win year in year out. But I mean, it's only what year two, year three for him. So I mean, honestly, you got to give him a
Yeah, two.
chance.
Yeah, two. Yeah, two.
Yeah, year two. So yeah, give him a chance. We'll see this year. This year is going to be a pivotal year for him, and the Dolphins. Now if things change with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, and they go out and so happen to get Deshaun Watson, then my picks change for the division because I honestly I like them as favorites with Deshaun Watson as their quarterback. But as it stands with Tua as a quarterback, I think the Bills win the division easily.
Buck.
So one thing about me, I want to understand, can the Bills come back from that heartbreak in the AFC Championship? That's the biggest thing for me. And it all depends on Josh Allen. Josh Allen playing to the MVP level that he played last year. I think one of the key things that everybody missed is the offensive coordinator, Dybul, that stayed there, that probably could have got a job somewhere after the
Yeah,
great job offense that
right.
he did with So everything is still intact for them on the offense. Everything is still intact for them on the offense. Dig still got to be the superstar. He still got to be a top 5 receiver. But then you got to also realize that they picked up a great veteran. He's been bouncing around, but they picked up Emmanuel Sanders. So Emmanuel Sanders, I think, is going to bring some credibility and some real good talent to that wide receiver room. But it's going to be based on Cole Beasley staying healthy, and Cole have to stay healthy. And again, the running back, who's going to step up? It's going to be Singleton. It's going to be Moss that step up for them. Now, they did pick up Matt Breida, who's been bouncing around, I think, from San Francisco, then went to Miami, then came back to went to Miami. I mean, was at San Francisco, bounced to Miami, and now he's in Buffalo. So that's going to be the key. But they still have to improve. The 16th rank, that's in the defense. They was in the middle, the defensive what's called they're number 16. They're close to that's 50%. Top defense. Somebody got to help my man. Somebody's got to help Trayvon Edmonds and Davis, not Davis, but White, to Davis White.
Davis.
Somebody's got to step up on that defense. It's going to come from either the guy that came from the U, Gregory Rosari from the defensive end, or last year's pick, AJ Espinosa from Wisconsin. They're going to have to step up on that defense. So, yeah, they could put up points. But my question is, where would their defense be? And the guys that they got as coaches is supposed to be able to push that defense to be better. And with Leslie Frazier, so if he can do that, I'm seeing them. If they could get into the top 10, I'm looking at them being back in the AFC Championship. So I definitely would give them this division overall. That's to me, that's it. But I want everybody to know Miami is building a culture down there. They're building a culture, but Tua have to come. He's have to be the leader. He can say, "I'm the man here," and I think that's the biggest thing that I saw from him. He played timid. He wasn't a leader. I didn't think he had to be a leader at Alabama. So this is going to be something different for him. That he really, really have to be a leader of this team. And left-hand quarterbacks, really haven't won anything anyway to me, and that's the biggest thing. You gonna pay all the money to your the left tackle, but you really now have to pay the money to the right tackle. But the key is gonna be Waddle along with Parker. And then I love the running back there, man. I missed him in fantasy. Myles Gaskin. I love Myles Gaskin. And they added Malcolm Brown. And that's going to be a big difference. If they're able to run the football, that's great. Because one thing about Miami, and they're on my fantasy team, I know everybody worry about my fantasy. Everybody say, well, I'm talking about fantasy. But Miami turned the football over. Miami turns the football over. They get the football, and that's what I love about Miami. So don't be surprised about Miami. But also the mad scientist, Belichick, is mad. He's very mad because he spent money like a gold digger in Hollywood this year.
He
And
did.
he went out is got talent toward the skills that he runs. And then the reason everybody, I kind of got upset because I think Cam is a better quarterback than Mac Jones, but Mac Jones' accuracy and his decision making was the key to him keeping that guy. And if you don't have Geno Smith on your fantasy team, you better get him, buddy, because I think he's gonna have a big year in fantasy. I think Geno gonna have a big year because the tight end is gonna be key. And I love what Kendrick Bourne did when he was at Kansas City. So, and
Forty-nine.
then Aguilar. Aguilar. No, yeah, that's right. With the 49ers. That's my bad. But Aguilar, is he going to catch the football this year like he did last year, or he going to miss it when he was with Philly? So that's my question.
David, what we got in the
And
AFC
hey,
East?
and people forget, like, one more thing. People forget New England was the number 7 defense overall last year. Offense got to improve. That's all they got to do.
Dave, what you got?
Yeah, after Buck took so long, I forgot for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, Buck.
But nah,
Got to remember, bro.
the Bills they're gonna
You
be
with the best
interesting.
right now. Hey, just
The
remember, you with
Bills.
the best right now. You got to bring your game, baby. Got to bring your game.
But with the Bills, you have to worry about can they repeat? Like, will Josh Allen have that MVP type season? How is Diggs going to respond? To being that number one guy, have to go out there and prove, well, not have to prove it, but show up every week. So you say they got what Emmanuel Sanders. He's an iffy number two. So, you got Cole Beasley. He can't stay healthy. Now they got a pretty decent defense, but you have to worry about can those guys repeat their effort and up it from last year. And we all can agree that Miami Dolphins, they're probably the most talented team on paper in that division, but nobody believes in Tua. So like I say, if you don't have a quarterback, you're stuck. So my team, I'm going with the Patriots. Belichick, like you say, Belichick is mad. Then you got Daniels. They see some in Matt Jones that we don't see. That's why they let Cam Newton go. And for me, I think it's about when you watch Cam, he kept checking down a lot of check down to little short receivers and running backs. And I seen Matt Jones in the preseason, stretch the field what they really want. So I think that was the reason why they let Cam go. You can't keep winning these 5 yards slants and little things to the receiver. So with that, like I say, the defense. What was the linebacker? The middle linebacker. I think he set out for COVID last year. They get him back.
Man,
They
no.
got a couple additions. Yeah, yeah, and Belichick's gonna have his team ready. Even when Brady first came out, Brady wasn't a gunslinger. He just had to manage the game, and I think that's what old boy can do right now. So that's why I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
That boy went off the rails and picked the Patriots. I like it. I like it. I see you going rogue. I see you going rogue. I like to just kind of address that.
Um,
Buffalo, we talk about Emmanuel Sanders. We talk about Cole Beasley. But to me, the guy in that receiver room is Gabriel Davis. I don't know if y'all know anything about Gabriel Davis, but he came out of Central Florida, and he's the guy to me that if he takes that leap, I see him at the number two. I don't really see Emmanuel Sanders or Cole Beasley as number two guy. I see Gabriel Davis taking that step this year, having 1 year in the system, hanging out with Stephon Diggs. I think they're gonna help him a whole lot. But I just think Buffalo, obviously, they the top of this class, man. They just from top to bottom. I love Josh Allen. And for the Patriots go, I just can't pick a team with a rookie quarterback unless you tell me you got an all-time defense or top elite defense. I know Patriots can be really, really good. Can they be elite? Because you're gonna need that with a rookie quarterback because he's gonna have some ups and downs. I'm just not sold on Tua. I like Miami. I like what the coach is doing down there. Big fan of his, but I'm not a big fan of Tua. And then we always know the Jets got Robert Saleh, brand new coaching staff, 2-14, rookie head coach. Rookie quarterback.
I love
So
that pick.
I got the Bills, Buck.
I got the Bills, and like you say, Gabriel he's right now. He's behind Manuel Sanders, but yes, he's a great guy that came last year in the 4th round. But I got the Bills, and like I say, this division is going to be very competitive, and I love the coach pick in New York Jets, and I love the pick with the quarterback Zach Wilson. What all out of Saul, but most definitely the Buffalo Bills is going to win this division, and then Miami. Remember, Miami only lost was only one win away from making the playoffs, and I think they make the playoffs out of this division also. But I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
But Kiwi, who you got?
Bills.
And Dave, you got the Patriots, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the
You
Pats.
you want to stick with the Pats? You want to stick with that? That's your final house.
Yeah, hey, Belichick got something to prove. It don't like what Brady went left and won the Super Bowl, so he got to up that now.
I got you. I'm with you.
Yeah,
All
he
right, that's
got something to prove, but he ain't got a quarterback to help him prove it. I put it like that. He don't have a quarterback to help him prove it. Got some good defensive coordinators. You got some good defensive coordinators in the AFC East.
Moving along, and now, I don't even know where to begin with this division.
The greatest.
I don't even know where to start with this division.
The greatest division.
This
Oh
division is
God.
by far the worst. That was the worst division in the history of the NFL. I'm not, and that's not her.
They got the most. This division got the most Super
I don't
Bowl
want to hear about.
championships
I don't want to
of
hear
all
about your.
time.
I don't want to hear about your 75 years.
I want to hear.
I don't want to hear about that.
I want to hear.
This ain't hyperbole.
I want to hear.
This ain't hyperbole. This is NFC East. The division winner went 7-9. 79. The Washington football team, who has yet to decide on a new nickname. Hey, they came out of nowhere. The defense was absolutely tremendous. They got their front four that is just outstanding with Sweat and Young and the two Alabama boys at D tackle. They went out and added Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I kind of like Taylor Heineke a little bit better, but that's what they did. They went 7-9. Antonio Gibson kind of came on late. This running game, they can run the football. Terry McLaurin out there on the outside, so they can consistently. But you know what? I said the wrong word because they got Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback. So there would be no consistency at quarterback. But in this division, you may get away with that. But the Redskins, the football team went 7-9. The Giants, who did a lot this offseason, they went 6-10 last year. They bring in Kenny Galladay from the Detroit Lions. They also drafted Kadarius Toney. They don't have enough weapons to surround Daniel Jones. This is the Daniel Jones prove it year right now. Year 3, he has all the weapons in the world. Evan Ingram, Shepard, Slayton. He has a bunch of weapons out here. I like what they did defensively the year ago. They got really better on defense side of the ball. So we will see what the Giants do. The Cowboys went 6-10. Really didn't make a lot of additions. They signed back to the big extension, obviously. Get your money back. Drafted Micah Parsons, who I think was the best defensive player in the NFL draft. But because you didn't see him the previous year, people had kind of forgot about him from Penn State. And then the Eagles went 4-11 and won. What a terrible roster this is. They bring in Nick Sirianni, the coach offensive coordinator. They drafted Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner out of Alabama. I will start with Buck Thomas just because this is his division. And I will say handicap the division, but it's already handicapped. But I'll turn it over to you. NFC East, Buck Thomas, let me know what's going on.
Everybody always say that, but let me tell you something. When you got to come to play the NFC East, you better make sure that you're going to get black and blue. And that's one thing about the NFC East. We have always been talented. So we had a couple drop-offs. But I'm not going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. I am going to start with the Washington Redskins. I love what the Washington Redskins is doing. From the defense standpoint, they have a great defensive front. The secondary have to improve a little bit, but they have a great defensive front, so they put pressure on the football. Plus the running game, like you said, Gaskins. I love Gaskins. He's a big guy, but they also went out. You know what I'm saying? They have McLaurin from Ohio State for the last couple of years. People haven't been watching him, but he's really been putting up some good numbers with a not adequate quarterback, but also they also have they added Humphreys, and then they added my man from Carolina. I want to say DJ Moore, but not is it? They added from Carolina.
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah. So they added him. So I think the wide receiver room is pretty good. And then look at the tight end. Thomas, the convert from quarterback from Virginia Tech. Now he's
Okay.
playing tight end. He came on strong last year. So the only thing that they're missing, like you said, and I hope they continue to miss it. I hope they don't. Rivera and Cam don't come to Love Jones and say, "Hey, let's join back up." And so that's the biggest thing for me with Washington. And I'm starting out with they won the division last year. Then you have my Cowboys. My Cowboys got Dak coming back. Our offensive line is healthy. Unfortunately, hopefully, there's 2 more tests if Zach can get passed against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when we play. We have 3 of the best wide receivers. You're going to see it this year. 3 of the best wide receivers, I think, in the league with CeeDee Lamb, Cooper, and my man, oh man, shit, I
Gallup.
forgot. Gallup. I'm sorry, Gallup with
Gallup.
them playing at the wide receiver point, and Zeke is looking good. And I keep telling everybody bombed out about Zeke for the last 2 years. The offensive line been hurt. Hopefully, if our offensive line stay healthy, of course, our offense is going to be unstoppable with Dak there. People forget what Dak was doing prior to getting hurt. Even though it's, you had to do that because you was losing. I don't care. If you was losing, you got to do it. You got to put those numbers up. You keep your team right there. You scoring 35+ points, but your off defense is horrific. So we added a lot of key players to our defense, and I think D Coordinator coming in is going to be the difference. So I look at Philly. I think Philly with the new head coach, I think going to take a step back. I think Jalen Hurts
What's the step back from 4 to
second
11?
year.
What's the step back from 4 to
No,
11?
I really, I
First
really,
overall pick.
really
First
think
overall
he's
pick.
going to take a deeper a step back and not moving forward. Not moving forward.
I got you.
And that's one of the key things with the Cowboys. Our schedule is a whole lot easier this year, and now the Giants did put some stuff together, but I don't believe in Jones. I just don't believe in him at the quarterback position. Eventually, I think he loses that job.
Kiwi.
But I got the Cowboys, of course.
All right. Do I have to?
Oh, you
that's
got to pick
that's what I
somebody.
have to think about
Somebody.
with the NFC East. Do I
2 teams
have
making
to?
the playoffs out of the NFC
No.
East.
You know what? This dude, you barely had one team make the playoffs last year. They didn't even want. Look, obviously, at the end of the season, you guys got together in the NFC East and said, "I don't want to play. I don't want to make the playoff. I don't want to make the playoff." So that's where we starting at with this league. But I will say, it's been some adjustments in this league. So a lot of newcomer talent coming into this division as well. Um, I'll start with the Cowboys. So and I'll start with why they won't win the division. So we started with the Cowboys. The Cowboys were traditionally a run team with one of the better offensive lines, but Buck touched on it a little bit. Offensive line had been banged up past not just last year, but the past few years. Offensive line has been banged up, so you haven't been able to kind of get that get the running game going as you typically would. But we looking at now where it's Dak's team now. So Dak has the contract. We coming out, after the contract, he's coming out for the injury. So I think Dak is gonna look to prove a lot out to everybody here. So I don't think this is gonna be a running team at all. I think it's gonna rely heavily on Dak. You got, like you're saying, you got the 3 wide receivers. So I think it's gonna be a pass heavy team, and I think that's gonna be probably the downfall of the Cowboys because I mean you got Dax, he's coming off the injury, so we don't know what he's looking like. He hasn't played football in a really long time. We didn't get to see any snaps from him in the preseason, and now we just depending on Jerry Jones' word to say that he's ready to play, but honestly we don't know. So we won't know until he takes the field because we haven't seen that. So I don't think the Cowboys win. I mean, the defense was atrocious last year. I mean, you get in Michael Parsons, but do we get a healthy Van Der Esch? Is Jalen gonna return to the Jalen Smith that we seen a few years ago? Because last year he was
Horrible.
horrible. The secondary, you lost some key pieces in
He
the
led the team
secondary.
in tackles,
I think
though.
you lost. Yeah, he did, but he was bad last year. You know that, but he was bad. We lost a starting cornerback coming out of there last year. Are we gonna get Diggs to step up? I don't know what we get from Diggs. The secondary is still pretty bad. I do like the move and getting and getting Dan Quinn over. So maybe that'll help improve the defense and stabilize them. But I don't think the Cowboys can win this division, honestly. And now I'll go for the winner. So Washington has the best defense by far. I think we don't know what we get on a week in, week out. Whether we're gonna get Fitz tragic or Fitz magic. So what we're gonna get from this guy?
No idea.
He has some weapons, so he's proved when he has some weapons he can actually ball out. But consistently on a week in, week out basis, he's shown that that's why he's a career backup and not an NFL starter. So with that, I don't think Philadelphia can win either. I don't know what we get out of Jalen Hurts. We got a new regime over there. Like you said, on paper they have the least talented roster. So with that said, my division winner for this division is the New York Football Giants, and I like the moves they made in the offseason. They already had a pretty good defense. The defense was really stout last year. Then you bring in a pass rusher from Georgia. You bring in Dory Jackson to this defense, which is you know really what they were missing was a second cornerback because the first cornerback, I forget his
Brad,
name, but he had a really
Bradbury.
really good season last year.
Bradbury.
Yeah, Bradbury, right, James Bradbury. So he had a really good season last year. Then you bring in Adore to kind of shore up the other side. You bring in a pass rusher, and on offense, we get Saquon Barkley back. I know he's coming off an injury, but you you don't have to worry about them stacking the box with him anymore because we have Kenny Galladay now. So we have a true number one receiver where they don't have to worry about people stacking the box. I mean, obviously people are going to still do it because you're going to make DJ beat you, but we have a true number one receiver, and we're not running out there with Sterling Shepard being the number one receiver. So I like the Giants' chances. I really think the Giants have a chance to win this division. So I'm going to go with the Giants.
Dave, what you got?
Yeah. Buck, I'm gonna start with the Cowboys. You know, I just don't, with the Cowboys, Dak, Dak coming off an injury, hobbling, then he got a shoulder injury. Those two bad injuries to deal with playing through the whole season. Your right shoulder, you got to throw the ball, and you need your feet to scramble, especially with that offensive line. And I just feel on that side of the ball, they have too much talent. I don't think there's enough footballs to go around to make everybody happy. With them, their defense is still struggling. You never know what you're gonna get with them. So I'm not all in on them. The Giants, like I say, they add a bunch of additions. It comes down to Daniel Jones. Is he gonna turn the ball over? What? But with them, they have the team to beat in that division. Philly, you can just count them out. Uh, Washington, like you say, with Fitzmagic, he's like a Nick Foles to me. He's that second half player come in when you're down, when you're just looking for a miracle. He's not a starter to me. But if they can somehow get a good starter, like you said, maybe Cam, and Cam used to know struggles when Fitzmagic come in like he used to do to him and say them in the second half. And I really like the team split, especially with the defense they have. But I'm gonna go with the Giants, even though I'm not too sold on Jones. But like I say, what they got? Do they still have Slay? I know
They
they
got
picked up
yeah,
Galladay.
yeah.
They still got
They
Slay.
got Slay and
Evan Ingram.
Galladay, Ingram, Butterfinger Ingram, and just say Saquon comes back. Like I say, the defense they made some additions, so I'm probably gonna go with the Giants. I don't know how to schedule, but I'm gonna be honest with this. I looked at the Cowboys' schedule, and that schedule helps them out as far as that division this year. They have a pretty easy schedule. But if I had to rely on
All I
something, I'm gonna
say,
go with the Giants though.
Buck.
I would say, y'all keep watching the Giants. Keep watching the Giants. And yeah, the Giants defense was good, but it's all about quarterback play. And you can say what you want to say about Dak. Everybody put Dak down this and this, but for be a fourth round pick and not a first round pick like Daniel Jones, not like a guy came from Harvard like Fitzpatrick, and not like a first round pick with not first round, I think second round pick with Jalen Hurts. Dak is the best quarterback in this division. Bars down. He got the best receiving core. And our offensive line, listen, guys, our offensive line is healthy. Our offensive line is healthy. And then the bottom line is Zeke and Pollard's going to run the football. You can sit here and think that we're going to pass the football, but you better go back and look at McCarthy and his what he does on from an offensive standpoint. We're going to be able to run the football, and we're going to be able to throw the football. And the Dallas Cowboys is going to win this division. The only way we do not win this division, I don't believe in Philly. I do not believe in the New York Giants. I truly believe that if the Washington Redskins get a quarterback like Cam Newton, then they will probably be the top in this division. And that's just the bottom line. And right now, they don't have that quarterback. So if you believe Fitzmagic, if you think that Fitzpatrick is worse than Daniel Jones, then you got another thing coming because you ain't watched this guy run 80 yards and trip over his goddamn feet. Come on now. The Giants will not be there because of the quarterback.
Look,
I
don't like Daniel Jones. I didn't like the pick.
You had some,
No, I was saying I don't like Daniel Jones, but yeah, I'm saying I didn't like Daniel Jones, but and nobody's saying that Dak ain't the best quarterback in this division. He is by far. It ain't even a close second, really, where you can say somebody else is second. But I just like the moves that the Giants made, and they added. They do, but also you guys have the worst defense in the division, arguably.
You got to go back and watch what moves that we made on defense.
I've looked at this thing.
Who, Kwan O'Neal?
I looked at this thing 100 ways, and I think we all agree that if Washington had a legit consistent NFL starter, that they are the most complete team. But at the end of the day, you gotta look at this and go. You just gotta go talent. I just gotta go talent. If Dak was, and my only issue with the Cowboys right now is Dak healthy. If Dak's healthy, they're gonna win the division because they're the most talented team in the division. And I just don't believe a team can win this division back-to-back years. I don't know when the last time somebody won the division back-to-back years. Who does that in the NFC? You don't win it back-to-back years. I can't pick Washington again with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love what Dallas has offensively, man. If Dak is healthy, they're going to put up tremendous number. And the defense, they just got to be mediocre. They just can't be bad. They just got to be in the middle of the pack. And because the offense is going to be a top 3 offense if Dak is healthy. So I got the Cowboys. They're the most talented team. And I looked at this thing 1,000 ways. They just got the most talented team. I don't trust Daniel Jones, and Keevy, we're calling Kenny Galladay a number 1 receiver. But we don't know if he's a true number 1 receiver yet because he's been hit in Detroit, and we have no idea. He put up huge numbers with Detroit, and you know what that means. You were down by 100 points, and Matthew Stafford started throwing the ball, so you got a bunch of numbers. Now defenses are going to scheme to you as the number 1 receiver. Can you really be a number 1 receiver now? And I just don't trust Daniel Jones. I just don't. So I got the Cowboys, but it could go any damn way. Moving along. From the worst division to potentially one of the best divisions in football, arguably one of the best divisions in football, the AFC North, the Norris division, was won by the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, who went 12-4, but they have significant losses. Bud Dupree is gone. Marquise Pouncey has retired. They did draft Najee Harris, the great running back out of Alabama. The Ravens finished second, 11-5. They add Sammy Watkins and lose Matt Judon, who's a big-time player, and Yannick Ngakoue, a big-time defensive end. But added with that, they just lost J.K. Dobbins and Justice Hill, both out for the season. Yeah. So let that sink in for a minute. The Browns, who also made the playoff, went 11-5. They signed the Davion Clowney and Troy Hill, who's a really good quarterback that nobody's really talking about in free agency. They drafted Greg Newsome out of Northwestern, who's a really fine quarterback. The Browns are freaking loaded. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And the Bengals went 4-11. Obviously, Joe Burrow got hurt during the season. They drafted his best friend out of LSU, Jamar Chase, and added offensive lineman Riley Reef. So I'll turn to the Pittsburgh Steelers fan because they started off 11-0, blazing hot last year, but we all thought it was smoke and mirrors for the most part. David, how do you overcome those losses? And Big Ben, like he was on his last leg last year, you kind of begged him to come out of retirement. So how are you feeling about the Steelers and the rest of the division?
Starting with the Steelers, I'm realistic. I'm not sold on my team. I think Big Ben needs to hang it up. I think we need to, make some changes in the coaching staff because that type of football just ain't cutting it anymore. With that being said, of course we were 11-0 at one time, but we weren't a real 11-0 team. It depends on who we played. We played to a level of competition. But with that said, I don't have us winning the division because the division, has got great. Starting with the Browns, they're arguably, from roster point, they're probably one of the most loaded teams in the league. Then you add Clowning with their defense, him and Jarrett, and everything, like you say, with the quarterback play, it revolves around Baker Mayfield. So if he can do what he did last year, I have to pick them to win the division. With that said, Baltimore, they're out of a running back right now. And with Baltimore, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a great defense, and you're gonna get a running pound. But with that said, that works to me in the regular season. But when you get to the playoffs, teams make adjustments. So I think there's their downfall when it comes to the playoff time. They're still trying to run this little tight end, little drag routes, and all these little curl routes. That's not gonna work. You're gonna have to stretch the field. So I got them coming in second in the division. But I actually have the Browns winning the division. Ravens second, Steelers third, and the Bengals fourth.
Kiwi.
All right. Yeah, this is a hard division to choose for me. I mean, obviously the Browns are head and shoulders on paper more talented than anybody else. They made a lot of good moves in the offseason. Probably the best move they made in the offseason, like you said, was drafting Newsom. I think Newsom's going to fit well with what they do. He's a dog. He's a man corner. They like to blitz a lot, so you'll have somebody else to pair with Denzel Ward. So I like that pick. But a lot of people was not talking about Jeremiah Owosu Kamara. So he had a really good preseason, and I still don't know to this day how he fell to the second round of the draft. But they may have the steal of the draft with this guy because I think he's probably early rookie of the year candidate from the defensive side. So I like that move. We got a talented team already in the Browns, and they just got better. Um, I was tempted to say that Baltimore can make a run for the division, but I don't know that they can do that without J.K. Dobbins. Not just losing J.K. Dobbins, but a move that a lot of people don't talk about is they lost Orlando Brown Jr. That's a big move. He was a really good offensive lineman, and they traded him over to the Chiefs. So I would say for sure the Browns will win the division. Um, the Ravens did just pick up Le'Veon Bell, which could be a big pickup for him. I mean, he may be well past his glory days, but he still doesn't have a lot of tread on him because he hasn't had a lot of carries in the last year. You got to think he sat out an entire season, so he got a lot of usage in the days when he was playing with Pittsburgh. But after he sat out that year, he hasn't had a whole lot of usage. So I mean, depending on what they can get from Bell, I think they can definitely finish second in the division. Um, what Pittsburgh, I don't know what we get from Pittsburgh because I don't know which Big Ben we see. Either the Big Ben from the first half or the one that kind of tailed off at the end of the season last year, which I think we probably looking at more of the latter Big Ben because like Matt used to say on First Take, once the quarterback reaches that plateau at the cliff, they fall off steeply. So they know steadily decline from there, and we've seen that from Big Ben. So I would say Cleveland wins the division. Um, Baltimore is definitely going to be a wild card team for sure, but um, maybe Pittsburgh sneaks in there, maybe not, but that's what I got.
Buck, AFC North.
AFC North. Can you really believe that we're talking about the Cleveland Browns
Yes, I
being a
can.
good team?
Yes, I can.
Right,
Can you really believe
right.
that? On paper, from top to bottom, they have a very talented team, offensively and defensively. Now the key is, can Kevin Stefanski continue this role that he did in his first year, taking over this team and taking them to in a division that's been totally controlled by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and secondly with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, with them getting Clowney, hopefully he can help out Garrett to make this defense a whole lot better. This defense was ranked number 21, so defensively overall. So can they bring that defense back to with that rush, because they have a decent secondary. I think they have a very good secondary. The receiver room to me is loaded. I mean, it's loaded. That's if OBJ come back to the top of his game. The running back room also is loaded. You got Nick Chubb, you have Baker Mayfield back there, and you also have Hunt, so that backfield is loaded, and so that's the key. But Baker Mayfield have to have a year, to make sure that he stay on top of that division, because Baltimore could do the same thing that they always did. They're gonna do this since they had Lamar. Since they had Lamar, all he have did every time he have got on the field, he have won. Period. That's just the thing about it. He wins
Right.
without Baltimore giving this guy no weapons, just like they didn't give him any weapons this year. They didn't give him no weapons this year. And with with J.J. Dobbins' injury, it's going to hurt this offense. And the defense is going to be the same. The defense is going to be typical as always. I like to see the rookie Dewey, see what he's going to do at linebacker, because they're bringing him in. But one of the keys is, I'll tell everybody this: if you do not have Mark Andrews on your fan, and you haven't drafted yet, and you need the tight end on your fantasy team, go get Mark Andrews, because he's going to get the football a lot in this what's called, because they really did go out and get him no wide receivers, and I'm sorry, so that's it. And Big Ben, I'm sorry, his legs.
What about Bateman, though, Buck?
Oh,
Rashad Bateman, but he hurt right now.
Rashad Bateman.
yeah,
They picked up Sammy Rashad, but they stay hurt.
Sammy. They,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? One thing that Sammy Watkins got to do, if Sammy Watkins can do this, if he can go back and get those receiver skills that he had at Clemson, then you could talk to me. But the reason I didn't mention Sammy Watkins, because I would have drafted a receiver before I paid for him. And that's the bottom line. They should have drafted a receiver for that paper. Bateman, okay.
Bateman good.
All right.
Yeah, Bateman good.
Okay,
But he
where's
hurt now.
Bateman at right now?
Right.
Yeah, okay. And so to me, when you come in as a rookie receiver, you're hurt. That means that you was out partying when you got your paycheck, and that's the biggest thing. So it's commitment. It's commitment to coming in. Once again, they haven't got him any skilled receivers. That's period. But he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and he's going to continue to win. I don't think they're going to win the division, but once again, Pittsburgh is over with for Big Ben. Now,
Yeah,
Mike Tomlin gonna have that team. One thing I love about Mike Tomlin, and I'm not a Steelers fan. I hate Steelers. I post about the Steelers all the time just to make people mad who Steelers fans, to include my
we
mama.
know.
So y'all don't
We
take
know.
it. Y'all don't take it personally. But Mike Tomlin always get his team up to play football. That's one thing he do, and this wide receiver room is loaded. This wide receiver room is loaded, and that's one thing I say. But with Juju, Claypool, and Devontae Johnson, who I think will have a breakout year, but the thing about it is, it's going to be short passes, and stuff like this.
They can't stretch the field. So
they can't stretch the field.
You can sit down.
And then you have Najee Harris.
No,
you're gonna have Najee Harris, which I think is going to be that's what I said. He's going to be a decent back, but he's going to find out that you ain't got the line that you had at Alabama, baby. You got the line in Pittsburgh, which is horrible. And so that's why I say the defense is top notch. But the thing about it, Steelers going to have to score. They won't be able to score. I love if Joe Burrow is not rushed back, if he's not rushed back, then Jamar Chase. I said one time I think he may be the biggest bust of this draft, but I digress. I think Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and wide receivers.
They got some weapons.
It's going to open things up for Joe Mixon. People, I love Joe Mixon. I love the way that he runs. He's very talented. Opposing team will have issues of stopping his offense, but then their defense going to have issues with stopping offenses. So they're going to be in the top pick after this campaign, and they're going to be in the cell as well. But I give it to Cleveland, with Baltimore closely behind, and Pittsburgh could easily switch their shot to being fourth, because I think the going to be spoilers. I think Cincinnati plays spoilers in this league because of their offense.
Well, for me, man, at the end of the day, and now 2 years ago I picked the Browns to win the division. They made a fool out of me because they had, I thought they had a ride. I the talent was already there. Then last year they put it together, and man, they found their recipe, they found their formula. I just hope OBJ doesn't come in and kind of wreck the formula they had, because the bottom line
Oh
is
yeah.
they are a run-first football team. This is not a pad-first football team. They're built to run the football and play action pass you to death for George Landry, those two
Right.
outstanding tight ends that they have. They just loaded up front. The Davion Clowney, Myles Garrett. They got weapons galore. They just talented all over the field. I love the Browns a lot. They definitely gonna win the division. I just can't see them not win the division unless Baker just falls flat on his face. But the only way he does that is Kevin Stefanski does not realize that he's a run-first football team, which they are. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, the best duo of backs in the NFL, period, bar none. This roster is absolutely loaded. I have the Browns. Dave say you got the Browns. Buck,
I got the Browns. I got the
Browns.
Browns with Baltimore being very, very close.
Keevy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Browns as well. I really wanted to pick Baltimore, but I just can't without J.K. Dobbins around,
And,
or Justice Hill for that matter. So
and Dave, you got the Browns also.
Yeah.
All right, moving along, man. NFC North, NFC North. We know this division is dominated by the Green Bay Packers. Man, it was drama all summer long with Aaron Rodgers. When he coming back? When he gonna do this? X, Y, and Z. He hosted Jeopardy for a little while. It's just like the day of our lives at Green Bay. I don't know what's going on up there, but they re-signed Aaron Jones back. They picked up center Corey Linsley after they lost Brian Bulaga. So they drafted Eric Stokes, the cornerback from Georgia. They went 13-3. They had a home playoff game, the NC Championship game. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, because that was very disappointing. The Bears went 8-8. They added Andy Dalton. They picked up DN Mario Williams. They drafted my man Justin Fields, and the Mitchell Trubisky era has officially ended in Chicago. They went, and they also got in the playoffs. The Vikings went 7-9 last year. They added Mason Cole, Davin Tomlinson. They added Patrick Peterson, but they did lose Kyle Rudolph and Riley Reef on the offensive line. They drafted Christian Darrisaw, the offensive tackle. They went 7-9, and the Lions went 5-11. Fired their coach. Dan Campbell comes in. They add Jared Goff, lose Matt Stafford, lose Kenny Galladay, lose Marvin Jones, lose Jared Davis. They pick up Tyrell Williams, receiver from San Diego. LA Chargers. I'm sorry. NFC North. I'll start with Buck since he's in the same conference. NFC North.
NFC North. Of course, Green Bay is there. But the key thing to me is what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter what's going on with him. Once he get on the football field, he's going to do his thing. He has Adams. He has a really, really good defense coming back that's going to put pressure on the football. Running game is going to be still the same, with Williams. So I'm looking at them basically winning this division. Now the question is, what can Kirk Cousins do in Minnesota with the superstars that they have at wide receivers and the superstars they have at running back? They're really, really decent at running back and also at wide receiver with Jackson, I think, coming back as the rookie second year. Jefferson, yeah, with Jefferson coming back for the rookie year. So I really look at that. Detroit breaking in a new coach, Campbell, and they left the covered bare for him there. I think the best player they got on their team is DeAndre Swift, and that's the bottom line. And I think Terrell Williams actually came from Vegas, and so I'm like, it's nothing there offensively for those guys. Chicago, let's see. Andy Dalton's gonna come in. He's gonna play for a little while until I think Justin Fields come in and learn the game a little bit. But by far, I see in Green Bay continuing to win this division year after year, and Minnesota a close second. But I do have Green Bay with possibly another MVP year for Rodgers.
Dave, NFC North.
Yeah, to go with Green Bay. So you can't deny that. Mr. Guaranteed Money, Kirk Cousins. I do not trust. He been scamming since he got in there, getting money
Best
and
agent in
losing.
sports.
You know,
Best agent.
best agent for himself. Like I said, the Lions they got rid of everything. They don't have anything. So and with the Bears, I think they're in a window frame right now. Like Khalil Mack, Hicks, a couple of guys in the secondary. What was it Eddie Roy? I
Eddie
can't remember
Goldman. Goldman.
the safety of the corner. Yeah. But them boys are not getting any younger.
Jackson.
So I think
Eddie
they
Jackson.
got like at least two good. Yeah, Eddie Jackson. Like that team right there. I think they have a 2-year window because the defense been pretty solid. For the last couple of years, but they haven't had that offense to put them over. So Fields will take over eventually, but you know I don't see them, especially on the offensive side. They don't have that much anyway.
They
But
don't.
I think they're in a 2-year window frame. With the rest of the defense that they have, their chances is to win. But you can't go against Aaron Rodgers.
Jay.
So
Yeah. Touching on a little bit what everybody else said. This Aaron Rodgers division until you prove me wrong. So I don't know. Anybody else can overtake them. I do like Minnesota. I don't like Kirk Cousins though. For
Nobody
whatever,
does.
I don't like that guy, man. That guy is not good at all. Might be the biggest con artist ever in NFL history. That guy tricked these guys. He stole the money. No ski mask. This guy, but yeah. So they Minnesota though, I like them offensively. We can get Thielen coming back too. How he was when Stephon Diggs was there. Maybe if he's healthy, he can play a little better. I don't like that Irv Smith got hurt. I was looking for a big year out of him. He was going to make a big year for us. I think that probably would have helped the team out a lot more. They did go out and trade to get a tight end. I forgot who they traded for, but they traded to get Chris Herndon from the Jets. So they traded with the Jets to
Chris
bring in
Harden
Chris
from
Herndon.
the
Solid
So
tight
Jets.
end.
Yeah.
I like
Solid tight end.
yeah yeah I like that pickup from them. So I think the Vikings can compete, but it's honestly Green Bay division. We talk about Detroit. Detroit is probably in the running for the number one overall pick next year because they, as far as like from a pure talent standpoint, they have probably the worst team on paper. I can't, you can't name any receivers they have to throw to. Um, Tight end, Hawkinson, he had a decent year last year, so he'll probably be pretty good this year. They do have a solid offensive line though, so if nothing else on their team is good, that the offensive line is solid, so they should be able to run the ball with Swift as long as he can stay healthy. Because Hawkinson, like I say, he's a good receiver, but he's probably one of the better run blocking tight ends in the league. So I mean, I think they can run the ball, especially with the offensive line, but I don't think they're an overall talented team at all. Chicago, they're going to be in their own way, but rightfully so. They'll probably not play Justin Fields until like they absolutely have to, which is when the fans are going to demand to see Justin Fields. But by this time, they're going to be so far out of contention that I don't think they can, compete with Green Bay or Minnesota. So um, I'll probably have Detroit finishing last, the Bears finishing in third, because they still have some good pieces there, like Allen Robinson, who is one of the most underrated receivers in the league at this time. But um, Green Bay, they had a lot of good pickups in the offseason. I like Stokes. A lot of people weren't high on him. They're probably saying Green Bay should have went another direction. But if you look at the playoffs from last year, the weakest link in the Packers game was the secondary. So I mean, you pretty much got to go secondary when looking to improve this team. I like the Amari Rodgers pickup as well. He has a chance to be kind of like Randall Cobb was back in the day for Aaron Rodgers. So I like that pickup. And they even brought Randall Cobb back. Not sure how much left he has left in the tank at this time, but per Aaron Rodgers' recommendation, they brought him back. So at least that's something to try to appease him here. But yeah, Packers overall division leaders, easy.
So I'll go back around. I'll go back around the horn. Keith, you got the Packers. Buck, who you have? Packers.
I got the Packers also, but if Dalvin Cook stays healthy and have a great season with the wide receiver, because I think Thielen played decent last year. Jefferson, they have to get to know each other. It's going to be close because I still think it's a little bit of turmoil in Green Bay. A lot of times we don't want to think that, but I still think even though Rogers is a bad man, anything can happen there because of the animosity in between the front office and the player, Rogers. So don't think if they got animosity that he don't maybe have some animosity with players there also.
There you
But
got the
I
Packers.
go with Green Bay because that's the soft and easy pick.
There you got the Packers as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I got the Packers.
yeah, I'm with everybody else with the Packers. I think it's clearly the cream of the crop on this division. I think the Bears could actually potentially make a playoff run. I think the defense is really still strong. It just depends on their running game and then how fast, how well does Andy Dalton play before Justin Field takes over. I don't know how long that's gonna take, but the Packers are the cream of the crop. And Keith, I want to just address that the biggest issue that the biggest what you call the Packers' problem in the NFC Championship game last year was the cornerback position. The biggest damn problem in the NFC Championship game was Aaron Rodgers. But I digress.
I I second that because
Uh,
if Tom Brady turned the ball over 3 times and you only
You
get
gotta
3 points, it's on
gotta
your
win.
quarterback, bro.
You gotta win. I
In
put
the
that.
first
yeah,
half, come on,
I
man.
Hey, y'all know I love Aaron Rodgers, but that loss there was one of the worst
man,
losses
we
I
could,
ever seen him have. He was not good in that game. He
He
gotta
let
win
him
that game.
off the hook.
He gotta win
He
that
let
game.
Tom Brady off the
he
hook.
wasn't good.
Yeah,
He wasn't good, but they were still in the game till the cornerback started getting toasted. Like right before half, that score right
He
before
let
the half,
he
with
let
King. What was King doing? I still don't know what King
he
was doing.
let Tom
I still
Brady
don't know what he was doing.
he let Tom Brady he let Tom Brady off the hook worse than doggone Ryan in Atlanta in a doggone Super Bowl.
We're gonna agree to
Worse
disagree.
than
We
Atlanta in Super Bowl.
disagree on that one. Let's move along. AFC West. We know who's in the division. Patrick Mahomes, boy. They went 14-2 last year, but the biggest problem we obviously saw in the damn Super Bowl was the offensive line. So they went out and got Joe Tooney, the best guard in free agency. They add Orlando Brown, the aforementioned Orlando Brown Jr. They get him. They lost Sammy Watkins, but they got plenty of receivers. Miko Hartman still there, so they got plenty of guys to go around.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, Andy Reid has got to get some balance in the system so they can run the football and not be so heavily reliant on Mahomes. Las Vegas went 8-8 their first year in Vegas. They add Yannick Ngakwe, the DN that came over for the Ravens, but they lost Gabe Jackson, Rodney Hudson, Trent Brown, Nelson Aguilar, and I mean, what's going on in Vegas right now? What the hell is going on? They just cut Talon Mew yesterday. This is a shit show. You paid him a 10-year contract. You're in the year 4, and you worse than you was for the first year. So I don't even want to talk about that. The Los Angeles Chargers, they went 7-9. They added Brian Balaga. They added Corey Lynn on the offensive line, but they did lose Hunter Henry. I love Justin Herbert. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I love Justin Herbert. The Denver Broncos went 5-11. They brought in Tyrod Taylor. He's now gonna be named the starter. And outside of that, they didn't do much. They did drafted Patrick Surtain to find cornerback out of Alabama. So it's in the AFC. I'll start with Kiwi. AFC West. How you see it going?
Um, this yeah, another one of the easy ones to pick. So I mean, as far as like the division winner, the Chiefs and it's everybody else. I do like what I seen out of Justin Herbert. I wasn't high on the guy coming out of college, but I like what I seen from him last year. He stepped in. He had a really solid rookie year. And on to that, they had a really good draft. They brought in Rashawn Slater, who's probably the best offensive lineman in the draft, and then they had Samuel Jr. So he can be a starter. They get Derwin James back, so the defense should definitely be a lot improved. So I like what the Chargers have to offer. I just think that the Chiefs are that far ahead of everybody. Like you said, they had an offensive line problem. You can see that clearly in the Super Bowl. They couldn't block anybody. Not to mention they did have some injuries in the Super Bowl, but I'm not sure if those players played that it would have been any different really. But yeah, they brought in two of the better offensive linemen in the league to add to an already stacked team. I like what Denver did as well. Denver improved. You talk about the cornerback that they received, Patrick Surtain. So Patrick Surtain is definitely going to be a starter. But I really like Javonte Williams. I like that addition to the team. I think he can actually take over. We've seen Melvin Gordon. I don't know if he can stay healthy, but I mean, I like Williams as a change of pace back. And somebody that can definitely step up if Melvin Gordon gets hurt. So I like that they improve. I think they still probably a year off. Even though you got solid Teddy as the quarterback, I mean, he don't turn the ball over. He's just a guy out there, but he's a guy that doesn't turn the ball over. So that's something that you have to love with him. Um, Chiefs, Chargers. Yeah, I don't know what the hell the Raiders are doing. They're running. They're in the running for one of the worst for one of the worst teams in the league. But that's what happened when you hire a TV guy to be your GM. It's all fun and games when he rate and draft players to be drafted. You know what I mean? And there ain't no consequences behind it. So yeah, that's all fun and game. But to his actual job, then you realize, you know what I mean? Saying that player A is better than player B is a different story than actually going out there
Having
and
a hard
drafting those
time.
guys. So I mean, I don't know. Right, I don't know what he's doing. And the thing is, like, Tanner Muse was having a good. You talked to a lot of Raiders fans. He was having a good camp. You know what I mean? He was out there starting everything, and then just unexpectedly cut the guy. Like, that was, I don't know. You bring in KJ Wright, which I think is the right move. There's no wrong move with making sure you got more talent on the roster, but don't throw out a potential starter just because you got somebody off the street. But yeah, they're in the running for being top overall pick as well. I do like the Trevon Morin pick though from the Raiders. I don't know about Alex Leatherwood. I think that was a bit of a scratcher, but the safety from TCU, that's a really solid pickup for them as well.
Dave,
But yeah, Raiders definitely in the running, number one overall.
AFC West.
When it comes to this division, you worry about the runner up. You know who's going to come in number one. So,
Right.
so Kansas City's number one. Like, what do you say with the Raiders? Like, you have to be amused with John Gruden. You give up Khalil Mack, and I'm a Clemson fan. But how in the hell do you draft Cleveland Farrell at number 4? I'm
Still
still trying to
scratching
figure
my head.
that out. Like I say, like I say, that team, they're going backwards. I like Jacobs. That's about the only thing I can say with them. But like I say, the Chargers, I like Herbert. They were down on him. I hope Derwin James, for the sake of him, I hope he has a great year. He gets to play the whole year. That's the team in the future. And like the Broncos, I like Teddy. I like Judy. I like, what's his name, Camler, Penn State receiver.
Hamler, yeah, Ken Hamler.
Hamler.
Yeah, Hamler.
Yeah, Hamler. Then they got the big tight end, Fant.
Noah Fant.
Uh, yeah,
And they got
yeah,
back Courtney
yeah, Fant.
Sutton.
They got cut.
Yeah,
Yeah, Courtney Sutton, like I say, he came to the number one. Well, they're number one. Like I say, they got a decent defense. With Bradley Chubb, a couple pieces. But they're going to be a solid team. Teddy's not going to turn the ball over. But like you say, with that division, you're just playing for run up. Kansas City is going to be number one. So,
Book. Make it a clean sweep.
So, yeah, Kansas City definitely has a solid squad there. The moves that they made from the offensive line, and so you look at the Super Bowl, and all they did is say, okay, what was wrong? We did not protect them, even though they did have 2 starters out. We did not protect them. They brought in some great offensive linemen to now protect Mahomes. Running backs, and receiving core and the tight end is going to be solid. I think you're really going to see the secondary step up because they now a couple guys that have been there second and third year. So, yeah, Kansas City there. I really like the LA Chargers because with Mike Williams and Allen at receiver, there is going to be great for my man, that quarterback, because like you said, everybody looked at him, and said, okay, Justin Herbert, should we get him or should we not get him? I know we had a discussion when it was time for get him, but I think now even though Washington Redskins is looking and say, really, should we
Football team.
took Justin Herbert or should we have took Chase Young with the Chargers? Yes,
No,
the
stop saying
Chargers.
Redskins. Football team.
When Chargers.
Washington football team.
Oh, football team.
They slur.
Yeah, WFT. I'd say WFT.
There you go.
WFT. Hell, you can call me black skin. My
Yeah.
skin black. I say WFT. But with shit, with Justin Herbert and no holds barred, bro. We going all at it. They can cancel me. I don't care. But I think the Washington football team, they didn't ever get a damn name because that shit don't sound right. But the Washington football team, the WFT, I think really they're saying, should we have took Justin Herbert over Chase Young? I really think that because with the front three they already had there, it was very decent. But yeah, nobody but Kansas City should come out of this. And then y'all talking about Kirk Cousins stole money. No. Chucky was the one that stole their money, $100 million for 10 years, and he already 7 years of mediocrity. So he's the one that stole money. The Vegas. So when you go to Vegas, you don't bet. And so I got Kansas City, but I love what Denver's done. Denver has a great wide receiver core also. Teddy's there. Can he go deep to Judy? Don't know. He's usually mid-range, check down type of a quarterback. So and then I also got Melvin Gordon. Can he stay healthy and run the football out there in Denver?
Yeah, I like obviously.
I got Kansas City.
Obviously, I like the Chiefs in the division, but man, I'm super high on the Chargers. I love the Chargers a lot, man. There's nothing to like about Justin Herbert. Quarterback wins the league now, and he's the type of quarterback that wins. Mobile quarterbacks who can throw the football, not a running quarterback, but mobile quarterback who can get out of the pocket, escape pressure. Man, I was close to putting. I got the Chargers a wild card team, obviously, but I almost put Denver. But Teddy Bridgewater, even with those weapons, I don't think he has the ability to help out those receivers. I don't think he has the ability to stretch the field and make those guys utilize those guys the way they should be used. Because you look at that receiving core, we named the guys: Fant, Hamler, Sutton, Judy. I mean, those are dogs, man. But I don't think Teddy had the ability to bring the best out of them. So we all got the Chiefs. On to the last division, and we talked about arguably
they got Tim Patrick also.
Yeah, and forget about Tim Patrick, who last year after Courtney Sutton got hurt. So yeah, you're right. They got a lot of weapons out there in Denver. So on to the NFC West. We talked about the AFC North being arguably the toughest division. This right here is arguably the toughest division as well. So I think you split half. AFC North, NFC West, toughest division in football. NFC West last year, Seahawks went 12-4. They go to the playoffs consistently. They added Carlos Dunlap. They picked up an offensive lineman, Gabe Jackson. But the story of the offseason was Russell Wilson. And there was talks about Russell wanting to get out of town, did not like what was going on in the front office, wanting to be a part of this decision-making process because he's tired of getting hit, and he was absolutely 100% correct. And I don't think they have done enough to address that situation. We'll talk more about that. The Rams went 10-6, had the number one defense in the NFL. People do not realize just how good the Rams defense was last year. They add Matthew Stafford. Jared Goff is gone. They pick up Deshaun Jackson. We don't know how much Deshaun Jackson got left, but the pickup for me is Leonard Floyd on the defensive side of the ball. Get flat, just get after the quarterback. Him along with 99 problems. That's gonna be something to deal with out there in LA. The Cardinals went 8-8, but made a ton of moves. They add J.J. Watt. They add A.J. Green. They add Rodney Hudson. They drafted Xavier Collins, the linebacker from Tulsa. They lost Patrick Peterson, but I think he was long in the tooth. The 49ers went 6-10, but they did add Alex Mack. But the thing about the 49ers, they were completely banged up and just unhealthy the whole season. I mean, you're talking about a snake bent team. I think we have used up all our injury cards. So the 49ers went 6-10, but everybody's back fully healthy this year, including Nick Bosa. So I'll start with Buck Thomas, since it's the NFC. Handicap that NFC West for me.
Oh, so NFC West. I know everybody was okay. Let's go with the Rams. Let's go with the Rams. But you got to remember, the Rams lost a running back that I thought this year was going to be his year in Cam Akers. And that's going to really, really hurt them. I know that the Rams had one of the best defenses, but guys, the Rams lost Troy Hill, they lost John Johnson, and they lost Michael Brockers all for that defense. I know they have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, on that defense to say, okay, yeah, we can easily overcome those losses. But I think those three losses for those starters is going to be key for that. Then they got Matthew Stafford. So we got Matthew Stafford. And one thing about Matthew, he can throw the football, and he can throw the football well. He's gonna have Van Jefferson. He's gonna have Cooper Kupp. He's gonna have Robert Woods, but he also gonna have them defenses, cornerbacks, and safeties that he throw the ball to also. And that's one thing I tell you about Matthew Stafford. He's just like Lay's potato chips. Once he throw one interception, he's gonna throw another, and he's gonna throw another. So with the Rams, I look at them as being actually a great team, but Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Matthew may stretch the field, but he still have that tendency to throw stupid interceptions, and I think you cannot lose that tendency. Just because he was in Detroit doing it, don't mean he's going to get a better habit when he gets to LA. So San Francisco 49ers. And that's one thing about the 49ers. The 49ers defense. They're going to bring pressure. They're going to bring defense. They just picked up a man from Greenwood, Josh Norman. That's the same thing that they did when they picked up my man Richard Sherman from Seattle. Josh is going to have to play in a system. So secondary for San Francisco. Can you improve in the secondary? I know you can put pressure on the football, but can you improve in the secondary? And then, like I say, another man that stole money. He stole money. It's that quarterback. I forgot his name. You tell me his name.
Jimmy G.
Mr. 49er. What's his
Jimmy
name?
G.
Jimmy G. Galapano. And Galapano. And Trey, when is Trey is going to come in and take over that position? Seattle, I think Seattle still have Russell Wilson that's going to do his thing. Decent running game. Offensive line still going to have Russell Wilson running for his life. Receiving core is great, but they lost some things on defense at linebacker. So what will Seattle be able to bring? Arizona, can AJ Green come back to be the type of guy that he was in Cincinnati? That's going to be the big question. And if he can come back and be the guy in Cincinnati and play alongside Hopkins and Christian Kirk, you're going to see a big difference in this offense for them, along with Chase Edmonds and James Conner. What we're going to see with James Conner, he's just going to be a guy that left Pittsburgh and it was the system in Pittsburgh, or is he going to be that bruiser that be able to come in and do those type of things? J.J. Watt, what do J.J. Watt have left? And if that defense to come out and play, that Arizona's offense is going to be great. So to me, this is the best division in the NFL, hands down. That is very difficult to choose who's going to win this division because I really do think it's up in the air.
Dave?
And like Buck said, man, in this division right here, you can pick any team and won't nobody look at you crazy. Seattle, even though they didn't get much help for Wilson, you can never count him out because he's been doing that all his life. San Fran, like I say, your front seven, was real talented. It's gonna come down to your quarterback play and your secondary. Arizona, that offense, like I say, that offense is gonna be, it's gonna get you up and down the field. Like I say, it just depends on what does J.J. Watt have left. Can they make those right stops? And can what's the quarterback? Tyler Murray. Can he just keep advancing in that offense? And like I said, everybody with the Rams, you think he's gonna pick them, but with that division, it trades every year, so you can't really say that dominant team. And like Buck said, with Stafford, sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get. Sometimes that no look pass, he make pass, you're like, wow. And the next game he's throwing like 3 to 4 picks, so you can never tell with him. That division, they just gonna beat up on each other. So it's gonna be hard to pick one out there.
Kiwi, how you
But
see
if
the
I
NFC?
say so,
Kiwi, how you see it
I'm
going?
I'm gonna wait for my pick. I'm gonna let Key in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go back around. Kiwi, what you see?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, like these guys touched on, this is by far, I think even more so than the AFC North, this is by far the toughest division in football. Not just because it's top heavy or heavy throughout, but I think this is probably one of the divisions, the only divisions in the NFL where we have four starting caliber quarterbacks in the division. So with that, Matthew Stafford been the number one overall pick. We had Kyler Murray been the number one overall pick. So these guys,
Yeah.
they know how to play quarterback. So that if nothing else, I think this division has from top to bottom the best quarterbacks. Starting even including Jimmy G. So like Buck said, Jimmy is stealing money out here. He is
Yeah.
stealing money. But what I think before, when Jimmy was playing, even if he got hurt a few years, he didn't have anybody to look over his shoulder with. That's changed now. You got a top five quarterback right behind this guy, so he got somebody looking over his shoulder. So I think honestly that pushes Jimmy to be better this year. But it also gives San Francisco a kind of security blanket. So to me, I think that the 49ers will win this division. I like I said, Shanahan is top three as far as like calling plays in the whole NFL. There are not many play callers out there that can call a game better than this guy can call. So regardless of who's going to be the quarterback, whether they're interchanging them, he's going to have packages for Trey Lance. 49ers going to be fun to watch on offense this year. They can run the ball, just because of the scheme he adopted from his dad. He knows how to run the ball in that zone read, type of offensive line. So they'll be able to run the ball regardless of who is in the backfield. But I like the Trey Sermon pickup. My question with San Francisco, my only question, they can also get uh, pass rush from anybody on defense. My only question would be the secondary. I thought they should have signed Witherspoon back. I thought they should have brought Witherspoon back. That hurts the secondary. He's been solid. He doesn't get talked about a lot. He's had his share of times where he's got beat in coverage, but he's been a solid cornerback since he's been in the starting position with San Francisco. So I like what they did overall on the team. They brought in good pieces. He brought in what Jimmy injuries have been a big concern, especially last year. Last year, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a team get beat up as bad as San Francisco got beat up last year. And they were projected to win the division heading into last year. So with a healthy team coming back, I think San Francisco is going to be the team to beat. Seattle has regressed, especially on defense. They have Wagner. They have a couple of key guys that are still there, but they lost KJ Wright. They lost a lot in the secondary. Depending on what we can get from Jamal Adams, I still don't know whether he likes he want to be there or not. But we'll see what we can get for him. But if he's dedicated to playing the game, he can be a top five safety in the NFL. Honestly, top three safety in the NFL with his gifts and talent. Um, let's see. I like what uh, I like what Arizona has done out there as well. You bring in AJ Green, you bring in James Conner. I mean, you giving James Conner a chance. I don't know how much he has left in the tank. I don't know how much AJ Green has left in the tank, but I mean, overall, those are solid moves. They picked up Xavier Wilson on defense. How fun is that defense going to be with with my man Isaiah? And
Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons and Wilson, two chess pieces. You can pretty much
Yeah.
line those guys up anywhere on the field. It's going to be fun to watch that defense. See what the defensive coordinator can come up with those guys on the field. And yeah, just solid division overall, man. This division, is up there. So I'm picking. I like what the Rams did. I do like. Um, I like Stafford. I'm higher on Stafford than a lot of people. Honestly, you can see he hasn't had it good in Detroit. He hasn't had a good overall team there. So of course he has he has had some bad plays where like you said, he throws interception, but that's because in Detroit he was the number one overall pick there, so he had the pressure on him of having to be the guy. He doesn't have that same pressure in St. Louis. I mean, they have a good enough play calling
Yeah, but
system. Sean McVay can call plays, so
if you
I
think
think he
Jameis
can call
Winston,
plays.
Go ahead, Buck.
What was that?
yeah, if you thought Jameis Winston needed surgery, man, Stafford Ben needed surgery before they came up with it. LASIK. Stafford those interceptions, bro.
Yeah,
You look at it like, man, why the hell did you throw that ball? I don't care where you playing at, Detroit or wherever you play at. He, to me, has the arm, and to me in Detroit, a lot of times he was the one that lost games for
Yeah, he
them.
was
I'm
putting him
sorry.
in a bad spot. He was
And
putting him in a bad spot.
and can he make that change? Can he make that switch? That's going to be the key for him. And I like Stafford. Stafford coming out of Georgia, his arm and everything was live. I wanted him to come to the Cowboys. But if you go back and you just watch some of those plays, to me, it's difficult to say he's going to have a big change. He's going to a different place, different coaching and everything, but I still say the same. I don't know. I,
You
I
got a pick? You
like
got a
him,
pick
but
yet?
I
who, me?
will. I hear you,
Yes.
It's
but
difficult, man.
Buck, make a pick.
It's
I'm going to
difficult for me.
Niners. You took me. I got a Niners.
I want to make a pick, but this is the thing about it is if the two trades, so you'll know the two trades, Trey Lance and Trey
Trey Sermon.
Sermon takes over
Sorry, man.
their position in the backfield, and then I'm talking about Armstead, Kinlaw, Bosa, Fred
Can
Warner
you
Right.
afford his
on
back?
defense from
Defense
San
fat.
Francisco.
Right.
It is deep. But my key is this. One thing about what make me hesitate with San Francisco is Demo Samuels getting hurt. Brandon Ayuk, those guys, even right now
Yeah.
with George Kittle, because the way that they play and the way that they run, they
Physical.
run like running backs at wide receivers. And guess what? They play physical, but the other guys on defense play physical too all the time. And so eventually, are you going to get hurt? I understand. And we say, San Francisco had a lot of injuries last year. The motherfuckers getting hurt because they soft. This is bottom line. I wouldn't say soft, but they ran physical and they got hit, and that's
This
the
guy.
key. And the bottom line, sometimes you gotta know when to go down and when not to. But I love Arizona here because if Arizona, with their defense, I think can improve. And the one thing about it is you're gonna see Scott Frost eventually. Scott Frost. He's the offense. He's coach there, right? He's the coach there. If you could, his offense eventually with my man at quarterback there, and if
Cliff Kingsbury.
AJ Green is the player that I think. AJ Green is the player that I think that he is, and with the running game that they do have, um, man, in defense, I'm choosing Arizona.
Good
And
pick.
this, I know it's kind of crazy.
Good pick.
I'm choosing Arizona, but that's who I'm choosing to win this division.
Dave, you finally got a pick.
Um, it's hard.
Scared to
I
pick.
think
He picking
you know.
Pittsburgh in this division too.
Yeah,
He picking
yeah.
Pittsburgh in this division too.
Yeah. Oh man, this guy. I tell you, I'm saying it come down to the Cardinals and San Fran. Yeah, I'm a big Debo fan, and if y'all can get your quarterback situation straightened out, I like, I like Kittles, I like the running back. If y'all
Gotcha.
can get straight out, I'm gonna take San Fran because I like your defense, I really do.
Outstanding.
But I'm not sold on you. I know. Go ahead.
All right, go finish your point. Finish your point.
No, I'm just when it comes down to it, the Arizona, the offense starts out like last year. They started out hot,
They
then at
always
the
do.
end like they just folded. So
Yeah.
yeah, because when it comes to playoff time, that high power offense is not gonna work. Team make real adjustments and they settle down. So I'm not really big on that offense because Kyler Murray always running for his life. He's 5'2". He has a hard time seeing, like you say, with that. I just don't. I just don't trust that. So I'm gonna go with San Fran if y'all stay healthy though.
Well, you know where I'm going. I mean, to me, it's all about health. if the 49ers are healthy, they got one of the top three rosters in the NFL. And that's all. I mean the front seven is just absolutely loaded. You name the guys: D Ford, the Ken Laws, Nick Bosa's back. You got middle Fred Warner, top two middle linebacker in the NFL. You mentioned the secondary, but I like my secondary. I like Mose. I like Barrett. If Barrett was used to be a really good cornerback in the chart for the Chargers before he had a couple of knee injuries, but he kind of returned to form last year, which is why they got rid of Richard Sherman. But you bring in Josh Norman. Hey, you don't have to hold up very long when you got a front seven like the 49ers have, because I mean, yeah, and then you got Jimmy Ward back there at safety, the Whiskey Tart back at safety. This team is loaded. Long as they healthy, they'll be fine. But I actually got three teams going to the playoffs in this division. That's how good I think the division is. I
Yeah,
got the
me too.
Rams, Cardinals, and the Niners all making the playoffs. I think Seattle's the one left out because they are the one who got the worst defense, and I think that'll be the case. Arizona made a lot of moves. I think they'll be fun to watch this year. The Rams have a good defense, and I don't think they're gonna ask Matthew Stafford to do a lot. I think Sean McVay is kind of it. He's not Kyle Shanahan, but he is in the mode where he can design play, call a game where he can get Matthew Stafford to be most successful and not have him slanging the ball on the field, because that's when he makes mistakes, when he's trying to be a gunslinger mentality. So I got the 49ers, Cardinals, and the Rams all in the playoffs in this division. So that was all the divisions. But now it's time to earn y'all analyst money. Earn y'all analyst money. I want conference champion matchup in the AFC, and I'm going to start at the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to go to David Bryant, who will play for the AFC championship. Sir, earn your money.
Of course, Kansas City, you have to throw them in there. And I think it's going to come down, if Buffalo can repeat last year and get better, you will probably see them too. But, like you say, you'll be a fool to put all your money on Cleveland Browns because they are the Cleveland Browns. But, if I had to say, I would still say Kansas City and probably Buffalo.
Got KC and Buffalo in his AFC championship. Keely, who do you have in your AFC championship?
I'm gonna go a little bit of shocker here. So I got the Chiefs, of course, but I'm gonna go Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna go Ravens. They run the ball well. They play good defense. Yeah, KC and the Ravens.
So you got the Chiefs and the Ravens. Buck, who do you have in the AFC?
Before we get started, y'all know, right? There's 7 teams in each conference, so it's just gonna be one team get a bye. It's just gonna be one team get a bye. It's gonna be
Yeah, it
7
was the
teams
same way
again, and
last
not
year.
6.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was 6. So that's going to be the key to me. Who's going to get that first round bye? And that's going to be the key. And to me, with the division that Kansas City in, they should get that first round bye. For me, I'm looking at Cleveland and Kansas City in the AFC Championship. I want to say Buffalo, but with Buffalo, I think New England is going to be a thorn in their side this year from a standpoint of struggling. And with they got a difficult schedule. They got a difficult schedule for being number 1 again for being number 1 last year. So I got Cleveland and Kansas City in AFC Championship.
Cleveland, Kansas City, say Buck. Oh, I've looked at this thing 1,000 ways, but what I've come up with is that I have the Cleveland Browns versus the Buffalo Bills. Now y'all going, man, where's Kansas City? Where's Kansas City? The Super Bowl hangover is real. The loser of the Super Bowl is real. Ain't but one team has made it back to the Super Bowl after losing the previous years, and that was Tom Brady. I thought the San Francisco 49ers had the ability to do it last year, but for whatever reason possible, whether it's injuries, cohesiveness, somebody gonna get in trouble off the field, that Super Bowl loser just does not get back to the Super Bowl or even has a great season. Forget that. They don't even forget the Super Bowl. They don't even have a great season. So I have the Browns, who are obviously we talked about the talent that they have, and they are special. And I got the Buffalo Bills, who've been coming. It's a progression, and you take that next step. They won a playoff game last year, and they felt what it's like to lose a heartbreaking game to the best team. They had a golden opportunity when they knocked Pat Mahomes out. And they couldn't close the door. So I got the Browns and the Bills in my AFC Championship game because the Super Bowl loser just does not get back. It only happened once since the Buffalo Bills went back 4 times in a row. I will go to Buck Thomas. I need your NFC Championship game pick. Earn your money, sir.
But just to let you know,
And not the Cowboys.
we was talking about the AFC Championship. We were talking about the AFC Championship. We weren't talking about the Super Bowl. So when you pick Kansas City. So I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the AFC Championship.
Who picked Kansas
game.
City?
We weren't talking about the Super Bowl, buddy.
I didn't
You
pick
did
Kansas
not
City.
pick Kansas City. But I picked Kansas City. I picked Kansas City and Buffalo in the AFC Championship.
Okay.
I mean, in Cleveland in the AFC Championship game, not in the Super Bowl. So
Okay.
I digress. I just want to make sure that you understood what we were saying, but they know they're going to win the division. They're going to win the division.
Yes.
So in the NFC, okay, so in the NFC, what everybody wants to say, okay, we're going to go with Tampa Bay. I really don't think Tampa Bay is going to make it, even though they do have this great team. Again, in the NFC Championship, why not go away? We're definitely going to have the Green Bay Packers going to play in an NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. We're not going to have a back-to-back with Green Bay and Tampa Bay play for the NFC Championship game. You heard it here first. And you can say I got the Cowboys glasses on all you want to. I look at this up and down. I look at this up and down. I look at this up and down. I look at it overall everywhere we go. We say that the NFC West. We say that the NFC West, whoever win the division in the NFC East, once again, it's 7 teams. It's 7 teams. You only have one team that get a bye, and that's going to be the key here. And you can pick the 49ers all you want to, but I got the Cowboys and I got the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game.
You lost all credibility. Dave?
How?
Yeah, whatever the ball is talking about now. The NFC East, whoever makes it is going to be one and done. So let's just get that out of the way. Yeah. So with that, between Green Bay and the NFC West is so loaded, they're going to beat up on each other. So with them, because they are a bunch of 3 of them going to make the wild card. So one of them going to probably play each other, the first round. Whatever they don't beat up on, they're going to have to face Tampa Bay. Because Green Bay, I think Green Bay is going to get that bye. But I'm probably going to say Green Bay and San Fran if they stay healthy.
Kiwi?
All right.
You probably go with
staying in Tampa, I hate the Bucks. I get that stat out. No, man, I ain't going to Jacksonville. I'm not a homer like you, man. I look at stuff realistically. But staying in Tampa, I absolutely hate the Bucks. I'm not going to pick the Bucks to go back to the Super Bowl. I see the Packers and the 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
All right,
Healthy
man.
49ers.
Yeah. Look, man. I mean, look to me again. And this ain't hyperbole. If the 49ers are freaking healthy, they are top 3 team. We've seen what they done when they were healthy. They went to the Super Bowl. They went 14-2 and went to the Super Bowl. We've seen this script before. The Bucks are really freaking good. I mean, and now you got a whole offseason with a team that returned everybody. There's never been a time where the defending Super Bowl champion returned everybody. And Brady doesn't look like he's aging at all. And now he can have moments where he look like he has no arm strength left. He has some 40-year-old moments. But this team is loaded too. Offensively, they can run the ball now. The offensive line has got significantly better. Weapons everywhere. Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Godwin, and you get Howard back at tight end. Defensively, the guys are coming along now. You got Devin White, who looks like maybe one of the best linebackers in the game. You got Shaquille Barrett rushing the passer. You got the safety, the junior, Antoine Winfield Jr. They loaded. They are the 49ers, and it all comes out of that quarterback position. But I got the Bucks and I got the Niners. We got to keep prefacing that the Niners stay healthy. This is crazy. If they can just stay healthy, they're gonna get there to the NFC Championship game. So, all right, everybody got their picks.
Everybody does not stay healthy. Everybody does not stay healthy, and that's the bottom line. Everybody does not stay healthy, so that's part of the football game. But what is your depth?
Relatively healthy. Relatively.
One man go down. What is your depth? Your next guy step up. You don't have that next guy. Your depth is horrible in San Francisco at wide receiver, and I'm telling you, I guarantee you,
look who's talking at quarterback
this year.
Look who's talking, Bob. Look who's talking.
We got a horrible backup quarterback. But guess what? No, he's been hurt one time.
You don't have a backup
Everybody
quarterback.
going crazy because Dak get hurt all the time. Been hurt one time. We got a backup. They call him Rush.
Okay.
Smoke one and watch that Rush.
But before y'all give y'all Super Bowl winners, let me mention my wild card because I didn't ask y'all to ask for wild card, but I'm gonna give my wild card. AFC wild card. I got Ravens, Chargers, Colts. NFC, I got Rams, Carolina Panthers, and the Arizona Cardinals. Because I want to get that out there because I had a Carolina Panthers fan. I'm showing the Panthers some love. So I got the Panthers in the playoffs this year. All right. Keith Dennis, coming to you first. Super Bowl winner, matchup and winner.
Super Bowl matchup. San Francisco versus Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, shit.
The Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, God. Not again. Buck.
Close, but no cigar.
I mean, like, y'all just going against history. That shit ain't never happened, unless it's been in Dallas and Buffalo where you had back to back or skip back to back.
This wouldn't be back to back.
But I'm going with Cleveland. I'm not back to back, but you don't see that often where you have a matchup. So let's just back to back. And once again, I'm going to go with Cleveland. And I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl this year.
And who you got winning?
Nobody watching again.
Of course, man. Green Bay's going to win it if they go against Cleveland.
So Green Bay beat you. So you admit Green Bay beat your Cowboys in the NFC Championship?
We said going to the AFC Championship, guys, and that's the key thing is getting to the AFC Championship. You didn't even put Kansas City in the AFC Championship. They're gonna have the number one pick.
No,
they're gonna have the number one pick. Not number one pick, but they're gonna have number one
seed.
Dave, Super Bowl matchup and winner.
I'm gonna ask you one question. Were you serious about the Panthers making the playoffs?
Yes, very serious, deadly serious. Deadly serious.
He laughing at me because I picked the Cowboys for the. He laughing at me because I picked the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game.
I tell you what, the Carolina Panthers got better odds of making the playoffs than the Cowboys got the NFC Championship. We can make that bet right now.
What you want to bet then, bro?
Bet that right now.
I don't know.
Dave, you baby.
I'm gonna go with Kansas City versus. It's hard to go against Brady, man, until you actually knock him out.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna say that. Everybody for some years, you thought he was going down after the first couple games. He was looking terrible against the Saints. You're like, oh, Brady washed up. And then later on down the road, playoff time, he came in. So I'm gonna go with a rematch. And I think Kansas City, they fixed that offensive line. Pat Mahomes, and I think he might get in the shootout. And I really like Kansas City.
So KC in the rematch. So let me go back. Dave got KC over the Bucks. Keevy has KC over the 49ers. Buck has the Green Bay over Cleveland. That's right.
Yes, that's right.
You heard it here first. All right, I will give final words to you guys before we get off the air, man. What a show it's been, man. 2 hours. I kind of predicted 2 hours for an NFL preview, man. I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in to the best damn sports podcast, period. Sentell. Thank my guests, Keevy, Buck, and Dave for being here. So I'll get a final word to you guys. Keevy, starting with you. Final word before we get out of here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun season, man. I haven't looked forward to a season since a long time ago, so I'm really looking forward to it. Also, I want to give a shout out to my man RP, to my guy Michael K. Williams, man. Sad
Absolutely.
tragedy that happened with this guy. One of the most talented actors out there. If you guys haven't had a chance to go watch The Wire, definitely go check out his work in The Wire. Some of the best work out there. Sure.
Absolutely. Buck, final word.
Okay, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest things in the NFL, guys, is the fans are back in the stands. So it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be very electric. A lot of fights going to be in the stands. Also, you're already seeing that
Yeah.
because we're finally getting out in the out, and we're trying to adjust to each other again. So if you do go to the games, be safe. Make sure you take a crew with you who can fight. That's one thing I want to say. And yes, I think it's going to be a great season. We have seven new coaches, so I'm definitely going to be looking at how those coaches are fair. I want to be looking at the coaches that's on the hot seat because we have a couple African American coaches I think that should have got jobs going in this year. So I'll be watching that for next year to see which teams that's still hanging on to those coaches that we know should have another type of job. And some of the guys that's coordinators that like in Tampa Bay, that's like in Kansas City, that should be head coaches in the NFL. Hopefully, we get to see some coaches and some general managers, African people who are of color get into the front office, like they're trying to make their move in the NBA. So that's one thing that I want to always push and always drive. I love watching the sport. I love watching this game, but we definitely have to push and recognize that we have to make moves in the front offices and on the sidelines where we're seeing brothers of color, because that's who's playing this game and that's who we're talking about most of the time. The quarterback's position, I definitely want to keep seeing that moving. I liked what I saw in college football over the weekend. We was talking about a lot of brothers of color. I'm sorry, I'm not racist. I'm just proud of African Americans doing what they do. And so in college, so let's keep that moving. And guys who's listening here and kids who's listening there, sometimes the HBCU are great. I'm definitely start watching a lot of HBCU college football more. So check it out. And Deion Sanders is the one that got me keen on that. So I like all sports. And so I love what you're doing, cuz keep doing it. And I know when you bring me on with these guys, man, I'm an expert compared to what they're doing, but I still get them a handshake and get them a shout out. But hey, that's good, John. But I love y'all guys, man. Thanks for being on. And y'all have a wonderful day. I'm gonna bring something that's gonna make you smile and make you laugh. But hey, one more thing. I'm gonna take me a shot. Hey, have a good one, baby.
Dave, final word. Appreciate the word, brother.
Yeah, after Buck Long speaks again, I'm just happy that they have fans. They allow fans back. To have that real home field advantage. That real game time. Experience. I'm just glad people are able to attend games.
Absolutely,
But
man.
that's about it. Just hope.
Go ahead.
Oh, your Tennessee fans was throwing shot. Control y'all people so y'all don't have any outbreaks and mess up the whole football season like y'all did last year. Hopefully everybody, that no games get suspended. No big outbreaks or nothing. But just hope for a good season, man.
Well, I want to thank all you
I love the
gentlemen.
Tennessee.
Want to thank all you gentlemen for joining me, man. I appreciate having you guys. I really appreciate it, man. We will talk next time, man. Thanks you for the conversation. We'll see you next time, guys. Appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate you having me on, bro.
All right, man. That was what a show that was. NFL preview. Before that, I talked about the top 10 in college football. But I'm gonna get out of here. I will be back. What's the day? Tuesday. We'll be back next Thursday night. And looking forward to this Thursday coming here. We got the NFL season starting Thursday night. The Buccaneers and the Cowboys Thursday night opening the season up in Tampa. So that should be fun. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in tonight. It has been an awesome, awesome show. I will see you guys next Thursday night. I am out. Peace.